Hello, everyone.
Hello.
Welcome to the 4th year anniversary stream for ROCK GALACTIC and the almost a ghost ship.
Yeah, it's crazy how time flies
It is.
when you're having fun.
So my name is Søren Lundgaard. I'm the CEO and co-founder of Ghost Ship.
Yeah, and my name is Mikkel Martin Petersen, and I am game director and also co-founder of Ghost.
And we have around 4 hours of live streaming plus stream till you drop with Jacob and
Yes.
So hopefully we'll have a lot of entertainment and
Yeah, and yesterday we launched the anniversary build with what is like a party in the space rig and
balloons.
A lot of balloons to pop.
That's of course always.
Yes.
So the and we have a free weekend going
And
on.
we have a free weekend, yes, and a sale. So tell your friends.
Stop playing Elden Ring.
Yes.
Elden Ring and start playing Deep Rock. Oh, we know it's
That's a challenging
it's a bit of a
task to
challenge right
ask
now,
of you, but yeah.
So today we're starting with about 2 hours.
Yeah.
We'll add the a bit into it.
Yeah, I guess so.
Yeah.
And by the end of our stream here, we also have a small reveal of the third secondary weapon.
Yes, and the theme.
Yeah.
Then after we have talked, and we will take questions during this talk. Jacob, who's running all the technical right now, he questions.
He's sitting right over here.
Yes.
Oh.
Hiding as usual. So this will also be a Q&A session, kind of mixed. And then after this, the next session is that's the art session, right?
Yeah, we have an art stream with Frederik, who is one of the artists, and he and Anders, who is one of our game designers, and they have both been working on the new weapons, and they are gonna talk about the whole process of making
cool stuff behind the scene. Oh, yeah. Oh, I'll put it in my mouth.
Oh. You heard him there. He's giving orders. So
directing us.
Yeah.
So that's gonna happen, and then after that we will have the mod showcase session.
Yeah.
With the Mark and Jonas, the programmer behind the whole modding support. And then after that, it's Jacob and the stream team killing
bugs on hoxes.
Will they die? Probably. Yeah.
Or fall asleep.
All right, Jacob. But we have prepared some slides this time. It's more professional.
We're gonna bore you with a PowerPoint. No.
Well, there will be slides. So you can see if we can get the first one. Which is, I think, just the introduction. So you can almost just skip directly to the agenda for. Yeah, I don't know where you want to play. Yeah, that's fine. You're gonna move us around.
Woo!
So if you just skip to the next one. How about this one? Hotkeys worked. Yeah, now you have to move us a bit. That's fine.
Maybe move us to the other corner.
Yeah, so the first big chunk of this will be us going through what happens in the start of 21, and a bit of what has happened here in as well. And there's been a lot of.
Feel like we have. I mean, it's been kind of fun actually looking back, because it also gives us an opportunity to see all the things that we have been doing and
see how it keeps growing.
Yeah, it keeps growing, and it's just fun.
And then after that, we will talk about season 2, and of course specifically showcase this new weapon teaser, and reveal the theme, and then of course later. And then if there are more questions and the time, we'll do. So let's get started with actually something that happened a little bit before the 3rd year anniversary. Was update 33, where we released 2 biomes.
Yes.
So the biomes.
Asia Wield and Hollow Bow.
Oh no! Before that, actually. Before we start with the biome,
Yes,
we
that's
should talk
true.
about something that happened actually in the middle of the year, but it's kind of like outside of everything else. And we got acquired.
We got acquired, yeah, by Embracer Group.
Yes.
And that was actually, I mean, for us at the office, it was a big thing. We, as some of you guys know, we already had Coffee Stain as our publisher, and they are also owned by Embracer Group. So, and of course, there has been some thoughts into this going back and forth between us. And well, this year or last year, it happened.
Yeah, so we traveled up to Karlstad, which is in the middle of Sweden, and we shook hands with this guy in the middle, Lars Wingefors, who's the brilliant brain behind the whole Embracer setup. And yeah, since then we've joining forces, and as it says there with small print, will remain independent, as independent as you can be when you're owned.
But I think it feels very much like we are completely
yeah.
independent, but with extra security, I think. So in all, I think it has been a win-win for Ghost Ship Games and for ROCK GALACTIC.
Yeah, because it definitely means that we will be able to support this for years to come, and with the power of Embracer behind us, we can do much more than we thought.
Definitely.
Yeah. All right. So, and Jacob, if you're keeping an eye on some questions, or then you just fire them in.
Oh.
Too many questions.
Too many questions. We'll just wait a little bit. But then...
oh, you're fixing your microphone?
Yeah. Jacob...
yeah, here I go.
Okay, now we can hear him.
I think, Søren, your microphone might cut off like once in a while, so you really need to keep it really close to your...
Okay, it's. I don't think I can put it much closer without putting
we'll
it
get
into my
some tape.
It's
fine.
I'll eat it. Yeah.
Mikkel is actually coming in through your microphone too. Maybe it's like his deep voice.
Oh, so there's like an echo?
Not an echo. I think just when you talk, it goes through his microphone too. I'm not sure what's the deal here.
No.
If only our sound guy was here.
If only our sound guy. He's not.
Yeah.
All right.
People will survive.
Okay. There's people commenting on it?
A little bit.
Oh.
All right. Let's move on to the update 33 then.
Yeah.
So if you can show the next slide, and yeah, you were going to talk about.
Yeah. So update 33 was focused on us creating 2 new biomes, and that was very exciting because we haven't actually been working on biomes for quite some time when we did this. I think it had been like almost 1.5 years, something like that, since we had actually worked on the whole biome system and used and played around with our terrain tech. And then getting the opportunity to revisit that was super fun from a working perspective, because we had a lot of system that we had been developing for the full launch of the game, and now we just had the opportunity to really utilize all those tools and really try to do the best we could in creating biomes. And I personally am super happy with how Asia Wheels, which is what you see in here, and Hollow Bow, how they ended up. I think maybe the next screen is Hollow Bow. There we go. And it was super fun. And I think, for example, here in Hollow Bow, one of the very cool things that one of the other founders, called Philip, was working on was making those moving thorns. And that is really like very significant to the Hollow Bow, which is like this, I don't know, inside a tree thorn theme. And Asia Wheeled has this blue jungle underwater vibe to it, colorful flowers and everything that we were also playing around with that.
Of course, when we did these, we did concepts for quite a few, and it is clear that we have possibilities in the future to do more biomes if we want to.
Definitely.
It depends on how it fits in.
Yeah.
But that's now we have the tools and lots of ideas for new. Then after update 33, we decided to do a smaller update, and we also decided to make sure that the expectations were kept low, so we called it modest expectations. It was also a pun on actually trying to get in mod support, which did not go into the first 30. What did go in were elite enemies, and I thought that was a little bit fun to just talk about that incident.
Yeah, because that actually went a little bit wrong, and I mean, originally we actually thought that we could just like put it in on all enemies, and we quickly saw, both based on the feedback you guys were giving us and also on our own experience in playing the game, that it was not really working as intended, and I don't know, it just didn't feel right to have it all over in the game.
No.
So instead, we took all the systems and we had made for the elite enemies, and we just turned it into a warning instead.
Yeah,
and that works fine.
Yeah, that's how it is.
So that's how it is now. Right?
All right. So moving on, we did manage to get out the mods in update 34.5, and modding support has been like a very different type of update for us, because it's been going on for a while, because we really wanted to make sure that we listened to all of you, and it was also very clear that there was no consensus about how to do this. So we took our time, and I think it ended up as good as it can possibly be, but it's still very problematic, as we knew, with a very live game that is co-op multiplayer, have modding support that like feels correct.
And I think one of the things that we tried to address with the whole of supporting mods was that there was like, so before we wasn't handling it right, so people were just using mods, or they were modding the game however they wanted to, and it had that side consequence that once in a while, if you were joining a random game, you could risk joining into a game where people were playing with mods that would be cheating, and that could potentially ruin your save game without you actually knowing what was going on. And we wanted to sort of like put people who didn't want that, protect them. On the other hand, we also had people who were playing with mods, and that were mods that we could easily see had a good intention, you can say, and that would fit into the game. And why would we not allow people to play with those mods and progress their characters and the classes alongside? And that was all basically like our whole idea about why we wanted to do the modding support.
And of course, part of this, we ended up having a system where we needed to do some moderations, or quite a lot, and we're still doing that. And now we're in a transition where we are getting this into the hands of community, as it was always intended. And we see modding support as something for a very long view. Like, this is hopefully ROCK GALACTIC will years and years. Whenever in the future where we will stop doing updates, modding will still be there too. So it's a long-term strategy too.
I gonna also add that once in a while we actually see some mods that are actually like doing really cool stuff, and then we are just taking those features and say, hey, we need those in the game as well. So let's just like implement it. And an example of this would be the driller's angle meter thing when you're looking up and down, where we're giving sort of like, so you have an idea about what is up and down when you're drilling into dirt or in the ground.
All right. So then we moved into the reveal of Season 1. At this point, we had not. Everybody knew update 35 was coming, and we started by revealing this picture. Which in itself has a smaller story, because we wanted to reveal the date. And then there was the whole, how do Americans versus Europeans versus others write dates? that got a lot of attention on the Steam post. In the end, the message came through. And obviously we were not revealing it, releasing it back in time, coming out in November. And we had... before that, kind of announced update 35 as our biggest update ever.
Yeah.
And it definitely also...
And we had announced that we were doing 4 new primary weapons, which has been, when we've been doing polls and so on, it has been one of your guys' biggest demands that we would do new weapons, and that was actually also something we would like to see in the game, and it was super exciting actually to start thinking and dreaming about new weapons and how they would interact with the classes.
Well, at this point, we were very careful about how to reveal Update 35 because we were going to do this whole thing about introducing the concept of seasons, and we knew all the things that followed with that, with people thinking that that would be a bad thing or whatever. We were very careful about how we communicated this. But if you show in the next one, but I can revealed it as season 1 with a name and a theme and all the things that came with it, including the performance pass.
Yeah, and I gotta say the idea for creating seasons and a performance pass was something that I think I started like almost in the beginning of 21.
Yeah,
and basically, to me, it was because I'm also an avid player of the game myself, right? And I felt whenever we were coming out with an update, it was very easy to breeze through the content and see it, and then that was it.
Yeah, right? Then you just got it all served, and that was
yeah, exactly. So with the introduction of a performance pass, it actually gives you a reason to keep playing the game for a longer period of time. There's more to unlock. There's more to progress through. There's maybe even a system that will expand how you play the game, which we have been doing in season 1 with industrial sabotage mission and how it interacts with the data collecting of data cells in the normal missions and so on. So that was a desire to basically give you guys more to play with when we came out with an update.
Yeah. And also give us some, like the whole thing about creating it as a season also implied that it would be bigger and we would do more about how to actually promote it, create a narrated trailer and just make it a bigger experience. And also from a PR perspective, this worked extremely well.
Yeah.
Like resetting our count. Update 35 is not sexy to the outside, right?
No, and it's a bit weird that it's 35 and
Yeah, so season 1 kind of told people, okay, new players could come in and get a fresh start to the game. So. And journalists, the media, everybody up on this, and it was our biggest, most talked about for sure, even bigger than the release of the 1.0 version of.
It was
surprised us.
Yeah. I mean that we're really happy how season 1 landed.
Yeah, so when it actually released, we broke all our records.
CCU,
CCU, and how many players were returning, and people kept playing, and it just went beyond our expectations.
Yeah, it certainly did. It's like that was really happy about it, and again, as Søren said, the whole idea about the season. Now we're working on season 2, and it's really. There's a contract, right? When we say we're doing a season, we actually put something on stake and we say, well, there's a bare minimum that we need to deliver to you guys before we actually can call it a season. And that is really nice, seen from a design perspective or production perspective, that we have this sort of like template or framework that we need to fill with content.
So we'll actually just revisit the release trailer of season. Jacob is ready for that. So that was the one.
Maybe.
You want trailers in the middle of your slideshow? That's.
Can we just ask how is sound? Is sound?
I think it's fine. Besides, you're in 2 different channels, and I'm just over here in the middle. Sound is okay, people.
Okay.
You're still cutting out from time to time, Søren. So just repeat everything you say, and I think we should be fine.
So I say everything twice?
Yeah. Or yeah, I'm not. I think I'm getting it, but I'm not sure what's.
Can you ask the stream if people are having okay sound?
They're commenting on it now. Sound is good. Good, weird. Not cutting, just overall quieter levels. Yeah. I'm trying to turn it up a little bit. So let's see if.
Okay, but so
yeah. What trailer did you want?
So the rival incursion reveal trailer.
Let me just
in the folder.
Yes, I have it somewhere.
So we did the narrated trailer as a lead up, and we will do the same for season 2.
wait.
We'll narrate a trailer to as a lead up, and then when we release, we need a shorter one for the store page.
Yeah. Something that just is catching your eyes.
Yeah.
Very, very much like we normally do.
All right, let's do the season 1 launch trailer if I can get it to. And oops, I think. Oh, there we go.
Now watching the trailer here, I mean, it was a very big update for us to do season 1, and especially the industrial sabotage, because it was not just doing the mission logic, right? We were doing the whole caretaker boss fight. We were doing a bunch of new enemies at the same time. So there was like a lot of content in that.
It was really big.
We also took longer than normally. If you look at update 34 and update 34.5 and say they were basically focused on modding, obviously we were also working on season 1 alongside this.
Yeah.
All
right, but speaking of things that we were working alongside, we were also in 21, parallel to all of these things.
There's more things we were
working on a board game adaptation.
But wait, there's more.
Of Deep Rock Galactic. There it is. So this is a project that's been mostly run externally with a partner company, Mood Publishing, also here from Copenhagen, who we knew well. They've been you can't only see part of it, but some of the artwork from our various marketing material has been done by the very talented guys at Mood. They approached us to create a board game together.
Yeah, that's also a year ago or something like that. Actually, we know those guys also from the back in the days when me and Søren were working for another gaming company called Deadline Games. So we had been former colleagues, so we also trusted them quite a bit. And knew how talented they were. And then on top of that, I think we had also been discussing that it could be cool to turn Deep Rock Galactic into a board game. And
also because we wanted those small
figurines,
the minis.
Yeah, the minis
on the screen. So it was just another dream. To try that and in prototyping, testing, and helping shaping the.
I think keeping the vision.
Yeah.
Keeping like the spirit of Deep Rock Galactic has been important to me and Søren, that we would do a board game that we 100% could stand behind, and where we as people who love Deep Rock Galactic, the computer game, could feel some of that magic in the board game as well. And this is like themes like the camaraderie, the co-op experience, the whole thing about having fun and playing together, and covering for your mates. Just really,
And we later on, of course, had a more finished version of the game, and actually trying to play it with the more finished miniatures and components, and realized that we've created a board game. Which is, of course, shouldn't be surprising, but it's actually quite hard to design board games. There's a lot of things that can go wrong. And looking at the history of video games adapted to board games, it's not necessarily filled with successes. No. So we were a little keeping our expectations low, but I'm very, very satisfied with how the gameplay actually turned out in the game, mimicking the video game without compromising that it's still a board game.
And I think if I should say one thing that I think is unique with the board game, is that we actually have had that feeling of exploring and digging and creating, digging your own way
Yeah,
from cave to cave, and I think that's kind of unique to the board game.
it is compared to other board games.
Yeah.
I kind of say it's like a dungeon crawler where normally you have very fixed doors, but here's the dungeon crawler where you define where the doors are going on the map, and that creates another layer of strategy and tactics.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Then of course we have the 4 classes that you know and love, and the weaponry, all the weapons that you know. They also have those, and so there's a lot of mechanics that if you are an avid ROCK GALACTIC player, you will just instantly understand it and know what it is.
Part of this was also then trying out how Kickstarter works, because we have not done anything with Kickstarter. We actually talked about it in the very, very early days with ROCK GALACTIC. Should we try to fund it with a Kickstarter? But seeing a lot of video games doing badly on Kickstarter, we were
very scared of doing that.
Yeah. But for board games, it's almost like a business model. Many board games, big, well-known publishers are doing it on a regular basis. So the expectations were more aligned with from the customers. So Mood again did most of this, and we've been helping out promoting it and figuring out how to get it out to the attention of you, our fans, and that definitely worked. That was a big success. Oh, we have this video camera which needs a small kick in the butt every 30 minutes.
Hello again.
We're very professional here.
Yeah, it's we do computer games, not
not studio productions, TV productions, or Twitch productions. But no, so the Kickstarter event that was.
But it's running right now, right?
Yeah, it's still running. You can still go and back it. It will end in 1 week. But I mean, seeing everyone flogging in on the first day and just backing it.
That was amazing.
That was amazing. Yeah.
We've also been able to put in a lot of extra stretch goals on it. I mean, so that's been really cool.
And a lot of these have simply just added to the gameplay of the game with more weapons, a lot more missions, and more cards, more of everything to the game. So now we are looking forward to see how the campaign concludes. And then comes the next step, which is, of course, producing these board games and getting them out into the hands of you and us.
Yeah, and then I think also we want to say, I mean, if you're one of the ones who have actually backed us, I think we want to say, like, big thank you. You have something good coming your way when it ends and when we have them produced.
Yep, for sure. All right, so next up, agenda here is then something else that
was running alongside that has also been like most of 21 actually been going on for us.
So we knew already in early 21 that we would launch on PlayStation in January 22 as a PlayStation Plus title, and this has been like a parallel with Season 1, with the board game, with the modding support. So 21 has in general been quite complex internally at Ghost Ship. We're not a big studio, as you know, so having all of these parallel projects running has been a challenge, but nothing went wrong. But it was just like felt like a lot of juggling, almost too many things at the same time.
Definitely. And a lot of the problem, I mean, the challenging thing has been that there's a lot of crossovers between like doing a PlayStation port, doing modding support and doing the Season 1. All these things has just been on top of each other and dragging on the same people basically. So yeah, that has been a big challenge.
But part of running a successful game studio, and so we
juggling.
Yeah. We're still happy to be in that position. But talking about PlayStation and the launch, of course, we had some expectations. We had looked at other similar games coming out on PlayStation Plus, but still, even with that, we didn't really know what would happen.
No.
And it turned out a lot of players were waiting to try this, to try ROCK GALACTIC on PlayStation. So we were completely floored with the attention we suddenly got.
That was amazing.
Yeah. And it increased the whole brand awareness of Deep Rock. Like so many more players now know, gamers know about the game. So we're from Denmark, and Denmark is definitely a PlayStation country.
Definitely.
Yeah. So beforehand, even though people knew what working with, many of my friends had not tried out the game, or my son's friends or whatever. And now that's completely different. Now they've all tried it because it's on PlayStation.
Yeah.
So that gave us another like step building the future for Galactic.
Also feels good because we have been out for so many years on Xbox, and we've just been missing that last platform.
Yes.
And
Yes.
finally getting there.
Yeah.
And now it's out there. Now it's live there. It's just cool.
It's super cool.
Yeah.
It also made us realize that season 2 would be a bit more important probably than we just thought, because now we have a big player base on PlayStation as well as on Steam and on Xbox, and we
of course want to bring them back again,
Yes.
because obviously there has been a lot of players playing Deep Rock Galactic a lot while it was on PlayStation Plus, and now we just need to bring them back and all the
and show that we are delivering on a constant basis.
Yeah.
So season 2 will be doing that, and
hopefully.
I'm sure it will.
Yeah.
I'm sure it will. Yeah. So that brings us to today, you could say, with the 4-year anniversary of Deep Rock Galactic in orbit.
Mm-hmm.
Balloons in the space rig and celebration, and I guess we'll keep doing these live streams in celebration of Galactic.
I think it's quite fun to actually get this overview
Yeah.
of I mean, it's fun for me and Søren
to
get this overview
hope it's fun for you as well.
and look back at on the year and see what has been going on.
Yes.
And doing a small recap. So is that the last slide of your?
So actually, we missed something with PlayStation, because for PlayStation we did a video.
Oh yeah, that's true.
And that video was quite special.
That's actually and there's actually a little bit of story to that, because the music we used for the PlayStation trailer has a story, and the story is that last anniversary we did a competition with you guys where we had what do we call it? Shout Like a Dwarf.
Shout Like a Dwarf.
Where you guys should reenact Deep Rock Galactic. And one of the participants in that was what's called
Matt Sink.
Matt Sink, who was sending us a song, a shanty, and it was really good, but it was not totally on par on what we had asked of that competition. But we really, really loved that song. Then some months later, another big fan of Deep Rock Galactic called Doomer, he took the song and he remixed it and made a video for it, and pumped it up basically with some drums and so on.
Yeah.
And that was really cool as well. And we could see that we could potentially use that for a trailer. And with the launch of PlayStation, that was our opportunity to do a trailer with that music in. And then then we reached out to Matt Sink and Doomer and got their permission to use the song. We had our own sound designer do a little bit of magic on top of it and remixing it. And then we cut the trailer for the PlayStation.
Yeah, and we included kind of like all the hits of all many of the bigger updates and the cool stuff that was in the game. So it was also a chance to kind of like
a remix of everything we had done
for Deep Rock Galactic in how long is it? 2 minutes?
2 minutes 20 seconds. But I think maybe we should see it.
Yes.
And I big thank you to Matt Sink and Doomer for letting us use the music. I think it is still very brilliant. We had to cut down some of the lyrics to not make it longer than 2 minutes and 20 seconds. But so you need to go and search on Matt Sink or Doomer if you want to hear the full version of the song. But here is the edited version we used for the trailer.
tunnel long. All the while I'll sing this song. There's dirt to shift and bugs to hit. I wouldn't trade any of it. Bugs that fly and bugs that crawl in the air and on the wall. Web and acid, shell and bone. Watch that bolt dead for she blows. Heave ho for rock and stone. Bend your backs to take your cold. Dark and dirt is what we know. Deep in rock is where we go. Leave no dwarf behind. Call that resupply. You don't rock and stone. You ain't coming home. Leave no dwarf behind. Call that resupply. Rock and stone. Rock and stone. Dwarf is coming home. To take your gold. Dark and dirt is what we know. Deep in rock is where we go.
PlayStation.
All right, and maybe I should just add now. I was praising the song, but I mean I think Jacek, who is a lead artist here at Ghost Ship Games, he did a marvelous job of editing this trailer. I think.
Yeah,
as
it's
well.
fantastic.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
yeah, that wraps up our year in review part,
Yeah.
which means that we are moving on to season 2.
but before that,
Yeah.
I just I actually this is also something that happened. Can we just get the slide off, Jacob? Yeah. So okay, now we double. No, so no, so another little story that happened in 2021 was actually on New Year's Day. It started on New Year's Day, and could you? Yeah, I just want to share this story with you because I think it's kind of cool. It's a personal story, and on New Year's Eve I got this message from my big brother. And he was saying, it isn't Danish, right? I'm just going to translate. He said, "Hey, Mikkel, Happy New Year." And then he said, "Hint number 1." And then I said, like, "Hey," and there's like a funny picture of me there. And I said, Happy New Year, Jacob, which is the name of my big brother. And then I was like, "Hey, what is this hint number 1? I don't get it. D." And then I didn't get any more information from my big brother.
No.
That was it.
He's teasing you.
He was just teasing me, yeah. And then some time went by. Try to take the next one here. And now you saw 1st of January. Now 7 days later, I got the second hint, and it was like gul, which
Yellow.
is yellow, in English. And then I had the D, which then could form the word gold. In Danish, it's guld. And then I was like guessing that no. He says the color is yellow, and I was like, "What is?" And then he writes, "You need to wait for more hints."
Keeping you in suspension.
Keeping me in suspension, and this is fun. But anyways, I have no idea what is going on. Then I got the next hint, which is like, no, I actually didn't turn it on. But hint number 3 is 1 out of 4.
Yeah.
Of course, some of
He
you
was
guys are
something with the
probably in the
Dwarves.
context of us doing this Deep Rock Galactic stream now, starting to guess. But
Rock
I mean,
Galactic
I was
related.
still like 1 out of 4. I have no idea what this is. Gotta say also that my big brother, he is not playing computer games. So I had no idea
Not
what he
expecting it
was.
to be
No, I
Deep
had
Rock
no
Galactic.
idea what he was talking about. Anyways, on the 23rd of January, I then got the 4th hint, which was like page 1 in Harry Potter, The Philosopher's Stone, in the English edition. And I opened that and I was like reading that whole page and searching for what. And then I saw that Harry Potter's uncle, he's actually working as a driller
Oh.
And I was like, hey, wait a minute. And then I don't know, that was the only thing that was springing to my attention. And then I actually guessed the driller, and that was right then.
Yeah.
And then there's some I say this is fun. Yeah. And then I got hint number 5,
Plus.
which was a plus, and it was like, and I guess like, does this mean and? So it's like driller and something else, right? But that was a no. And then hint number 6.
This hash sign.
Was this hash sign, and it was like, and then hint number 7 was zoom out. And then I actually got it.
Your brother.
It's very crazy. And then I actually got it, because my big brother, he's into cross stitching.
Oh, so
if you zoom out, you have the cross here, and then you zoom out and zoom out, then you get like a whole grid. And then I actually guessed that he was trying to do the driller with cross stitching. And then he sent me this picture you can see on the bottom here.
Yeah.
Where he just basically taken a screenshot and then pixelated it. It's basically real life pixel art he's doing, you can say. And then let's see the next one. And you can see here he's actually drawing it on the cloth and about to start cross stitching it. And then I think there's another image there where he's in the middle of process of actually making this thing with cross stitching.
That's
super
taking
cool.
a long time.
It's taking a very long time, and this was on the 1st of January 21.
Okay.
And then we jump to Christmas Eve.
This last year.
Then let's roll the next one, because then I get a Christmas present from my big brother here. And let's see the next one. And I got this pillow from him.
That is amazing.
It's super cool, right? So much work he put into it.
But now all our fans want that.
Yeah, that's then they're gonna make it themselves.
Your brother's going to be busy.
Yeah, and then let's just see my brother here. This is my big brother, Jacob. It's probably the best Christmas present I've gotten in a long time. So yeah, love you, Jacob. Amazing, and thank you very much for that present. I'm just gonna, if you take the picture down, I can just show you the pillow here. I have it with me here in real life.
Oh, it's so cool.
So that's like handcraft.
Beautiful.
I mean, isn't that insane?
That is insane.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah. Well, that's
that was a surprise.
That's the work of my big brother.
That was a surprise. I didn't know about this.
So, anyways, I just been keeping it for myself because I think it was a cool story, and I don't know. He was just very creative. So, but anyways, that was it.
That was off script, but very very cool. All right, so back to the agenda. We are moving into season 2, and we are not gonna reveal a release date yet. We can say it's definitely going to be April. That's for sure. We are very much on track with everything, but just as with season 1, we really want to make sure that we can promote it properly. And that means creating trailers, creating a narrative trailer, creating a release trailer, getting attention from media, and all that. That just takes time.
But right now, as you know, we have revealed 2 of the new secondaries that we're doing. We revealed the Arms Core Coil Gun and the Nishanka Bolt Shark. And we are coming with the 3rd one today.
Yes, just in a moment. But first, we'll just show you the roadmap that we showed back in November.
So back to the slideshow.
Yeah.
And it starts over, of course.
Yes, so you need to fast forward a bit until you're on number 12. Just after the balloon picture.
Skip.
Oh, no, so maybe something, maybe...
The roadmap is after this one.
Okay, so we'll go back and forth. That was a slight miss-up. Okay, so this is what we have revealed to you, right? There will be a new season. There will be, of course, a new performance pass chock full of cosmetics.
Cool cosmetics.
Cool cosmetics, yes. Not that they weren't cool in the first one.
No.
We can see you were excited, but...
We'll try to top it this time around.
Yes. The performance pass will be, you maybe tell about that slightly more, or will it? What did you decide?
I think I know we have decided to go, instead of 100 levels, we are bringing it down to 90.
Yeah. Okay.
And But then actually, I think we really loved the whole interaction with the scripts you were collecting.
Yeah.
So actually, I think we are maybe giving you more scripts, but actually making the performance,
okay.
the cosmetic tree bigger.
Okay. Okay.
So, but it's all in the work in progress right now.
Yes.
So it's I don't have many more details on it.
We will of course reveal some stuff, some of the cosmetics in the coming weeks.
In general, so if you look at the last point here on the roadmap, it says other undecided stuff. We right now have no undecided stuff. We know exactly what we are doing and what we are working on, and we will. Now we are revealing the third weapon today. In 2 weeks, we are revealing the last of the 4 secondaries that we are bringing to the game. And then we will start revealing a lot of the other stuff bi-weekly. Whenever Jacob is doing his weekly streams, we'll provide him with new content too.
Yeah. So moving on to the secondary weapons. So if you move one back, Jacob. Yeah. So the first one we revealed was the crossbow, which was actually also had a small prototype showcase in the stream that we did a year ago.
Yeah.
I think already back then we were prototyping all kinds of new weapons. Yeah,
and I think the crossbow was something that I personally really wanted to see in the game, because I think it's just such a cool weapon, and I think it fitted the scout really well.
Yeah.
So when we are deciding these weapons, right? I mean, we have the primary weapons and we have the secondary weapons, and each of those categories fulfill different tasks for the dwarves, right?
Yeah.
I mean, they can do different things and they have different purposes. For example, the scout, he is not good at crowd control, right? And that's why he has a lot of weapons that are like precision. They're not the strongest either, because he has the mobility that allows him to really move around, and that's really what he does. And the crossbow really just fitted his secondary. It was difficult to make it to think of it as a primary, because it was not. That was like something with the fire rate and so on. That was a little bit weird. But it worked really well for the scout.
And if you move 2 slides forward. So the second one we revealed was the coil gun.
Mm-hmm. And the coil gun is we think of it as maybe the most powerful handgun in the game right now. It is this gun that can shoot terrain.
That's
kind of crazy, yeah. So when you charge it up and then you shoot one shot, and then it just blasts through everything in a line. So you can also shoot like multiple enemies that are coming at you, and you can even shoot terrain at the enemy. So it's really cool.
It's really interesting to see how
you
will use that.
Yeah. And again, this is like, I mean, we of course, when we're doing the secondaries, we are of course looking at the bulldog and what's called burst fire pistol.
Yeah.
And of course we wanted to sort of like do something else than those 2 weapons, but it still needs to fulfill this space, right?
Of course.
And I think this is cool.
All right, but now let's get ready for the teaser for the third of the secondary weapons.
Oh shit, that's now.
And that's for the driller, right?
That's for the driller, and basically we don't need to get back to the PowerPoint here or the slideshow, so you can close that again.
Are you ready?
I'm ready.
Oh, yeah, got sound now.
So that was the Colette wave cooker.
And tell us
handy
that,
kitchen appliance.
Yeah, it's like a microwave oven in a hand, right?
Yeah, something like that, right? I mean, you're basically boiling the enemies.
Nice. Can you smell them as
with-
well?
If we had the smellorama in the game,
Yeah.
then you could. No, but it is fairly precise weapon. It's long distance. And again, that's that you have the driller's set of weapon, which is like flamethrower, cryo cannon, and the goo cannon. What's called the corrosive flash pump.
Yeah.
And they are all sort of like very spread crowd control weapons. And basically, what the Sabotage does is that it gives them like precision, long range weapon. And this does the same, just in a different way because it's a burst fire weapon.
Okay. Yeah. And all these new weapons, of course, along as with the primaries, will come with overclocks. All that, right?
Yes, and that is also why, I mean, it is a massive task for us when we do these new weapons, because we take like the foundation of a weapon and then we say, well, this weapon, we also want it to be able to go in many different directions when you start modding it and overclocking it. So it's we don't see when we do one weapon that is basically one weapon. We actually see that we do multiple weapons in that one weapon, because you guys can modify it and take it in very different directions.
All right. Then the next thing we'll reveal here is the theme for Season 2 and the name of... Jacob, can you...
Drum roll.
Rival Escalation.
Yeah. So obviously we are bringing you the next chapter of the rivals intruding on Hoxes.
Yeah. So Season 1 was kind of like they appeared. You now know about them. You
now
start to learn about
they're taking
them,
it to the next level.
Now they're taking it to the next level.
And we don't have much more to say yet about this. We will again start teasing it. There is very cool things coming your way. You just have to wait, because we are not ready yet to share.
No. This is all you get right now, and you can start.
We're just going to show the trailer again because it didn't have any sound the first time. But
okay. Let's see the weapon again.
Let's just wait. It's not playing. Ah, damn it. Okay, wait. There we go.
All right.
There we go.
All right.
Yeah, I hope you enjoyed it more with sound on.
Yes.
Than the first time around.
So obviously also in later this year, there'll be a Season 3. We don't know anything about that yet, other than it will come later this year. That's for sure.
Of course, also you should look out for us revealing a launch date. We're not ready for that yet either. But
for Season 2.
For Season 2, yeah.
It'll be revealed in not so far future from us from now. So that's also gonna happen. But last slide, Jacob is basically just saying questions, and now you didn't ask us any questions from the crowd yet. I don't know if you can pick out some.
Yeah, they'll be here shortly, I think. Okay, let's see. I'm not sure. You should. I'll read it for you.
Yeah, that's probably easier.
All right. Question: what is going to happen to the Season 1 performance pass? How will we be able to get the cosmetics after Season 1 ends and beyond? That's an easy one.
Good question. Obviously, we didn't want to throw out all the work we had been doing on the Season Pass or on the cosmetics. So we are basically, what we're doing is we're taking all the bits and pieces, the cosmetics that are in there, the paint jobs, the dance moves, whatnot,
Yeah.
and then we are bringing it into the game, into cargo crates, the Lost Pack, cosmetic overclocks, or cosmetic matrix cores. And
go in the
so
shop as
some
well,
goes
or?
maybe into the shop as well, yeah. So basically, you are gonna get access to obtaining these items through the normal channels in the game.
It will take some work. You will still need to play the game,
Yeah.
but eventually you should be able to acquire all of them.
And I think maybe I should just address, some people have been suggesting that we just kept the season pass live, so people could just, I don't know, switch between it, so they could both have season 1 performance pass running and a season 2 performance pass, and then they could just decide which one they would progress on. The reason why we're not going down that route is because when we do a new season, we want actually to do changes to how the game is set up. We want to add flavor all over the game.
Yeah.
And that means that it would be very complicated for us to manage a system where we would have to constantly keep the game frozen in season 1 and not allow us to do stuff that changes it around.
Integrated it more than you maybe see in other games with the events and.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
And that is one thing that is gonna happen in the future. Maybe now we spoiled that it's gonna be called rival escalation. So obviously we are gonna have the whole rivals, robots, enemies in the game. But maybe later on we're gonna have another theme in a season, and then maybe we're gonna tone down that whole robot invasion.
Then we'll have a completely different theme.
Exactly. And again, there's just this conflict about having the 2 season pass. So the thing we have opted for is to just take all the cosmetic, feed it into the normal channel, and then you can just go and get them by playing the game.
Here's another one. Any plans for cross-platform?
So another popular question, and the honest answer is there are no concrete plans. It's something that we are constantly discussing, looking at the technical challenges. The main problem for us, which is a little bit complex to talk about, is our way of producing.
Yeah.
So we've been teaching ourselves how to release specifically on Steam in a very fast and efficient tempo, especially. Exactly when we release, we have these very fast turnarounds on doing hot fixes and getting the game in a good state. And
basically we are actually getting finishing up an update means that we actually set it live and then do a lot of supporting in the beginning of the game to stabilize it, to fix whatever things we see, because to our experience, we get the most true feedback on the work we've been doing for an update when it actually goes live.
Yeah,
we can do so much. We can do so much internally, but we really need the game to be live to actually start hot fixing it. And here it is just a little bit tricky with crossplay, because then we have
all these updates.
Exactly, and we simply have a longer turnaround on Xbox and PlayStation now than on Steam, where we can basically just hotfix like this, take it back and forth, and it just takes way longer on.
And even though the consoles has improved, we must honestly say that the whole system of patching there is quite good. It's still a lot of extra internal stuff that needs to happen with some QA testing on consoles and so on, and it will simply make all updates go slower and our reaction time go down a lot.
Yeah.
So that's one of the reasons. And of course, that doesn't really benefit you. That's just something that benefits us. But we when we started Ghost Ship, we really wanted to make sure that we also had a fun time developing. And there was unfortunately quite a lot of not so fun things about maintaining live multi-platform games cross-platform. And that's just the honest reality here. We are still, as I said, looking into the technical solutions that could make this feasible, because we know the demand is there, and we can see why you want crossplay. Play with your friends without forcing them on a specific platform. So that's the state of it.
Yeah, and I think it is challenging for us to find a good solution. Yeah, but it's not something we're completely against doing.
No. It's just not happening right now.
No.
What will happen to industrial sabotage once season 1 ends?
That's for you, Mikkel.
Yeah.
Can you answer it? Do we know it yet? It will still be there, right?
So we are doing, it's called Rival Escalation Season 2, and that allows us actually to leave the mission in there. We have thoughts for future seasons, what we're going to do with that mission. I am not ready to post those thoughts yet. But obviously the question is a good question, because there obviously needs to happen something if it doesn't interact with the performance pass.
Yeah.
Like it does now.
Yeah.
Is there any plans to add any higher difficulties or new challenges for long-time players?
So we did discuss Hazard 6 at some point.
There's a mod.
But then actually, because of the mod support, we went away from that again, because there is a mod that does that does something on the challenge part. So it's not something we have had on the internal agenda for a while. There are other ways, of course, that challenges in the game. You can say that the industrial sabotage mission was a way for us of the challenges. It was one of the more missions.
And it is. And then one of the things that allows us to actually make it more difficult is that it's not part of the introduction campaign assignment, Conquer Hoxes. And you actually need to play a mission to unlock it and so on. So it is sort of like more gated for new players. And I would say that Conquer Industrial Sabotage is a little bit harder than some of the other missions. But anyways, it does not. Anyway, this besides the discussion of Hazard 6 or not.
Yeah. So we're not working on a Hazard 6. That's the short of it. But we are thinking about difficulty balance. Of course, introducing new weapons makes the player maybe more powerful. So that should also be counterbalanced with something, which could be new enemies or new other challenge hazards and things that were not there before.
But anyways, okay. So why are you not doing Hazard 6? And I think that is really the question here, right? And I need to answer that. So when we started out with Hazard 4, and we didn't have Hazard 5.
No.
Then we actually made Hazard 5, and some of the can say gears that we could turn to make it work for Hazard 5 was that we increased like projectile speed, we increased movement speed of enemies. And I think basically those two things were the things that really make Hazard 5 way more difficult than Hazard 4. Turning up amount of enemies, for example, is a little bit weird, because all AoE damage is equally taking them out, and that wouldn't. If we should somehow balance that out, we would have to do different. I don't know, some hit points, damage points distribution between enemies or something like that, because you can already be swarmed on Hazard 5, and again, if you clear the room with AoE, it doesn't really matter if there's way more enemies. So that's one of the reasons why we right now with the system we have now can't really see how we should do the Hazard 6 in a meaningful way, because then the other part of doing a difficulty boost for Hazard 6 would then be to increase like health on enemies or something like that. And that's difficult, because that's gonna tingle with the way the weapon handles and how they feel and how you kill enemies and so on. And again, that's not something we really want to do.
No.
Because for example, if you have a gun and you are used to one-shotting a grunt with that, it's just suddenly weird if you take 2 shots with it. And that gap between being 1 shot to 2 shot is actually a double up. So there is not really a middle ground for us there. And that's just an example of how difficult it is to just balance on health here. One thing we have been discussing in terms of increasing difficulty for you guys who are masochists and really want to be punished, has been to, and it's just, we don't have any plans for it right now, it's just something we've been talking about, but is that you could select handicapped.
Yeah. Right.
So imagine that you could, I don't know, put some limits on yourself, that you were playing with half ammo, or you were 10% slower movement speed, or
Yeah.
whatever. But it was up then. You choose this to put this upon yourself, and that would make the game more difficult. So, anyways, and then
Yeah.
of course you could
be a
spice it up
solution.
with a hazard 3 or hazard 4. So, anyways, it's just some thoughts that we've been having. It's nothing concrete.
Not something that's in the works.
No, but it's something we've been speculating about because we have been getting this question so much.
Yeah, of course.
Here's another one. How come you don't ask for a lot of money from players? While other games are paid battle passes, DLCs, skins, etc., you guys have been amazing and have become my #1 game since it came to PS Plus.
So you almost answered the question, you can say, because we really believe that by building a amazing, trusting fan base, that will come back in the future. At some point, someday, we'll do another game, and by creating this trust and your willingness to support us, we of course hope that you will buy into us whenever we do something new. We also have this philosophy or theory that there are, from our point of view, almost an endless amount of gamers and players out there that could potentially buy Deep Rock Galactic. So by you being so happy about the game and spreading the word, you're drawing in your friends and gamers, and they buy the game and give us money. You can. So it might seem like a weird business model, but it's definitely working from our point of view. Obviously, we could be more stream on this and actually take more money if we wanted, and that would probably work as well. But that's where we are.
But I mean, we're also selling the cosmetic DLCs, right?
Yeah.
So that is also part of this, but you can say it's more like a trust-based relationship, because if you really want to support us, I mean, please buy the DLCs, right?
Yeah,
but it's not
give
something.
The games to the friends,
but we don't want to. If you have bought the game, we don't want to block content away from you. So that's basically the philosophy.
I've got one here. Are there any plans for max rank rewards, like when you reach the final promotion stage?
No. That is exactly what you just said. It's prestige, and I think it actually works when I play the game. And there are some few guys who's running around there with 3 red stars, and it's pretty cool.
You get something the first time you promote, right? You get access to the dives.
And you get so first time you promote each of your dwarves, right? You get access to the deep dives. You get an extra perk slot. For an active perk, and then as you progress your player rank, I can't remember the exact numbers, but I think it's all the way up to player rank 100 or even 125 or something like that. We actually unlock what we call prestige assignments. And these prestige assignments is assignments that you can play, and then you can unlock cool armor skins and helmets. And again, if you showcase them, that's also showing some kind of like.
Of course, there are players out there. You're probably some of them that are a lot of ranks and a lot of high, like build out on all the stars, and and then there's nothing more at that point. I don't know if we will ever expand on that or create more prestige stuff.
But again, it's also for you guys that we have introduced this whole concept of season and performance pass, because that is making it a fresh experience for you when you go into the game and play it every time you come with an update.
Any plans for something like one guaranteed pick of any overclock once a week, for example? Overclock grind is the most frustrating thing in the game for a lot of new players.
No. But
that was a
right, next question.
That was an honest and short answer, but maybe not what he.
I'm not ready to disclose it. We are doing something in regards to this.
But not that.
But not what.
Not what you're asking for.
No,
we are of course aware of the frustrations. There's a lot of tricky things going into this design-wise, of course. But we are aware of the frustrations and are.
But it's also part of the end game, and it is like, I mean, you have control over selecting weapons, mods, and this is the only place where we are actually doing something that is out of your control in terms of gameplay, unlocking gameplay mechanics, and that's the overclocks. And that is just something that it's designed like that. It's designed for the really, really long engagement with Deep Rock Galactic, and that's why it is like it. But we are doing something next season that is sweetening it a little bit.
There was something about how it will run on Steam Deck, and here's another one that kind of ties into that. Are you testing the game on Linux, or you leave it for Proton to deal with that? And
That's the last one. Yeah. We're leaving it for Proton to deal with that. It seems to fine. That's also how it works on the Steam Deck. And going to the Steam Deck, the game has been tested by Valve and deemed playable. They have these 3 categories, and we're in the middle, playable. To get verified, we will need to fix quite a lot on the font size. In some cases, we did a few tests on these, and we actually one of them slipped into a Steam release, and we had to pull it back because there's a lot of complications in this, because we don't necessarily want the fonts to be super big on easy big monitor version. So we'll need to add customization figure.
Or maybe it's still what's called like it's verified approved, right? It's still approved, I think.
Playable.
Playable. Okay.
Yeah. So it is playable. Some font might be hard
too small, but maybe
hard to read.
If you are a long time player of Galactic,
then
it doesn't really matter that much to you.
Yeah. So that's the status of it, and we don't know when or if we'll fix that font. We might improve some of it. We have actually not do not have a physical Steam Deck dedicated.
We are very curious.
Yeah, so we're looking forward to getting one in our hands and see Deep Rock and other games on the Steam Deck. I'm personally very excited about that.
Getting that PC experience in your hands, I think is
it's a brilliant move by Valve. So looking forward to it.
Are there any plans for a new playable region in the future, or playing outside of like another planet?
No. But again, this goes into, are we going to do more biomes at some point? Yes, probably.
Yeah, and then that might turn into a new updated mission map.
And I think that is why this is very highly speculative, because we have no plans for it right now. But maybe if we were doing more biomes, we would maybe something with the mission map and integrate it in a new and interesting way, like that.
Yeah, it's one of the older components of the game right now. It works, it serves a purpose, but
but what I mean is just like we have industrial sabotage, which works differently than all the other missions in the game. Potentially, we could end up doing biomes that would do something different. Again, just speculations. Yeah. Also on my part.
Any plans on reaching lower-end computers via settings like removing particles, etc.?
No.
We already have. We have a fairly low specs compared to other games, and I think
we're basically relying on Unreal Engine and its ability to some of the settings that you can there. So we have not really discussed this. Of course, we are also looking at like how the game runs on the previous generation of consoles, and sometimes we do some optimizations for especially when you are in a more place where there's a lot of enemies and a lot of things going. But it's not something that we are in the right. We're doing it each time for each update. We're doing some optimization that needs to be done, of course. But none specifically to address that problem.
Will error cubes ever have a purpose? All right.
That's stupid. So they already have a purpose, don't they? I mean, clearly you take them out, you ask question. so somehow they actually serve a purpose, right? You get curious. What is it? Maybe one day you will know.
Yeah, it'll be on our graves.
Is Season 2 going to come with balance changes to existing guns and overclocks?
Yeah. So I mean, right now
Probably
we are
Mike to
full.
answer.
We are
Yeah.
full focus on. We're full focus on the 4 weapons that we're doing. And again, it's because we are doing all the mods and all the overclocks for each weapon. It is super time consuming for us to actually balance just the 4 new weapons. So I actually think that is maybe not gonna happen for us.
At least we will not promise anything here
No.
on that part, especially because that's
Is the
lead
specific
designer.
weapons that you're thinking about?
Are there some weapons that needs a nerf? We can nerf stuff. That's easy.
Just mention it and we'll nerf it.
I think Mike got that covered already.
The nerf master.
Any plans to add more machine events?
Concrete ones.
It is but it is something we have been discussing a little bit.
You can variation, yeah.
Say that now we have also introduced. I mean, season 1 we had the whole data deposit and the prospector, which is kind of bordering on. It is like a gameplay setup that is introduced into other missions, just like the machine events. So it is borderlining that space, you can say. Creating new machine events, yes, it could happen. It's not in the plans right now.
Yeah, we in general, like we want variation that is just enough, right? So and that was the same with the biomes and the number of missions. Initially, or a year ago, a year ago, it felt a bit. Now we are in a much better position on that. So maybe machine events is a place to look at and say, okay, maybe 1 or 2 more, and then that will be fine.
Any plans for extending cave generation types?
So that's more.
Yes, I mean, I think that is something that is actually not at the biggest task for us to look into. We just basically need time to do it on the design team. I mean, I'm not gonna go into deep details about how we procedurally generate our caves, but part of it is that we actually handcraft like the basic shape, very basic shape of the bigger caves, and so that would need some manpower to actually go in and work on that. It is actually something maybe we should consider.
Yeah, because of course, for those of you that have played the game a lot, you will recognize these shapes sometimes, and and we know that you love when we add in new things to the mix on that. So,
and the reason why we are handcrafting, by the way, is we at the beginning when we were starting working with the generation of the caves, we were also experimenting more with like letting the algorithm or the math figure out those caves. But it very quickly turned out to us that it wasn't good for gameplay. There was like you wanted a little bit of control over how those rooms were shaped, because it simply generated better gameplay. And that's why we made the decision that, okay, let's just create those basic shapes. We still have, it's a bit abstract if you are not like into generation, but we basically create these very basic shapes, and then we take the biome and put it on top of that. And if I can, for example, take a basic shape of a room and I can put glacial strata on it, and then I can change it to magma core, and I can't recognize the room anymore with the 2, then I think I have succeeded in I don't know, creating something that is difficult to recognize. And that's possible right now with what we do.
But sounds like the answer is
yes. I think it is actually something we should put on our task list.
Yeah.
Is it happening for season 2 or season 3? I don't know, but it's definitely something we should.
Any plans to add more voice lines for pinging important in-game objects like events and resupplies?
We are adding voice lines for each.
Yeah, whenever we are adding new content, we are adding like new voice lines for a laser pointer, because basically the laser pointer is a huge part of the communication system in the game. Then you can say the non voiceover communication system, and so that is very important to us. But I'm not sure I 100% understand the question, because we have a lot
some
of
them
voice.
where we do variations on existing stuff. Again, to players that have played it for a long time, it's just.
I have a feeling that our community, there would be an outcry if we added more variation to We Are Rich or Mushroom. Just saying.
It's not all.
It's not
all
like
of
I
them.
think that would fall in good.
We're Rich actually doesn't work when you're playing solo. Then you just
that's
ask
a bit
Bosco to pick it up.
Okay, that's because we have we have a system where we can actually control some voice lines are really not working when you're playing alone.
Yeah.
And we have a system where we actually say this voice line is allowed to be played when you are alone or when you are in multiplayer, when you're two players.
Maybe we should have an.
I'm rich.
You and me,
Bosco. You and me, Bosco. We're rich.
Make it happen, Ming.
Yeah.
Will we ever get a major expansion to the space rig?
I don't think a major. We want to add new features to the space rig over time. I don't know what.
Define major.
Yeah, I think that's so. We
like maybe more mini games or something.
Yeah. I mean, we are. It's not. We don't consider. We think actually that the space rig is working extremely well from a gameplay perspective, but it's not sacred, and it's not something that we. I mean, we could easily see that we do updates to it and change it and expand it or so on.
It's good. And it can continue to evolve, and we've done so over time.
But even with season 1, I did that small room where we have the soccer game underneath the bar.
Yeah.
So that's just an example of us expanding it. Yeah.
Are you developing another game behind the scenes? If so, what's it about?
So I did say that in the question about our business model that one day. I hope Ghost Ship will create a new project and a new game. We have honestly at this point no developers actively working on a new game. That's the honest question. But we are talking about a new game and what it could be, and have involved everybody at the office to take part in these brainstorms or discussions about what it could be. We keep being hindered by our own success with Deep Rock, because we're a small company, and creating multiple games at the same time is difficult when you are not.
But it is. I mean, obviously, we want to do a new game.
Yeah.
Right. I mean, that's the short answer there. And
we can't say anything more than that.
Yep.
No,
we can't, son, because actually I think we can say is that we have enjoyed we have enjoyed the early access journey of Deep Rock Galactic so much and developing it, and we're going to do that again if we do another game.
Yeah. We will do something that can involve and will involve a community where we can create a systemic game, as Deep Rock is a systemic game as we see it, where it can evolve as we develop. And that's not saying a lot, but it's still also cutting off. Like, we're not going to do a single-player narrative puzzle game.
But I think we are going to tell you about it way sooner than many other developers would tell you about the games that they're working on.
Yeah.
And we'll probably tell you about it before we are 100% confident what it is. But we haven't actually more to say about it right now.
Is there a set amount of seasons you plan to release? How long will DRG be supported with new content?
We don't know.
What I normally write is something like, as long as it makes sense for us, which means that as long as we can see when we put our effort into a season that it comes back multiple times. And this surely did that with season 1, and we hope that that was season 2 as well. So as long as it works like that, we will continue to pour in energy into it. So that could continue for many seasons actually.
And
but we'll stop if we feel like it's not fun anymore, or all of you have moved on to something else. Then
come back from Elden Ring.
Come back from Elden Ring. Stop playing Elden Ring.
And previously in this stream, Søren said we are doing season 2 this year.
Yeah.
So, at least you can rest assured that 2 is not the last of.
Oh no.
Are you expanding the company? Being small seems an issue. And someone else adds to that, are you hiring?
Yeah.
So I can help.
So right now we're actually looking at candidates for a video editor position. We have a very excellent, as Mikkel called out, lead artist called Jacek, who has been editing our videos, trailers so far, with Mikkel as a director on that. And that works out great, but it also takes a lot of time from people who should be actually maybe doing other stuff. So that's one way, adding some specialists that can then give others time to do what they're also good at. We are expanding, but not fast. We have previously worked in bigger companies and seen what happens when you grow fast with a company, and it brings a lot of risks of you losing control of what's actually going on. We're taking it one hire at a time, and trying to get in the right and best people to slowly grow
There's also the fact that I think that we believe that be small and work smart is also a strength and a way to produce. And I think that with Deep Rock Galactic, I think actually we have very much proven that strategy to be very for us.
So to be more precise, right now we are 28 on the team, and we expect to grow maybe a handful within the next half year.
Yeah, and I just want to say we are out of those 28. I don't know how many developers we are, but it's maybe 16 or something like that that are like hands-on crafting stuff that is going into the next season. And we have a lot of people that is very much necessary for us to have Deep Rock Galactic running as a live service game. We have like a test department and platform engineers and community manager with Jacob sitting over here. Søren as a CEO, right? He's also running
a lot of PR and marketing work that goes into the way we are doing Deep Rock Galactic. So that also goes into it. Right now, so the video editor, of course, on the PR and marketing side. The other people we're looking at are mostly directly developers.
But since it's developers doing videos,
yes,
he should potentially count as a developer.
Counts as a developer hire. You're completely right.
Would you ever give each dwarf their own voice actor? Love the current voice, but would also love to see more than just a pitch shift.
No.
That's it.
We love the current voice.
we really, I think we really like the whole concept of them being dwarves and sharing a voice. They of course have they of course have individual voice lines, and the way they have individual voice lines is because the voice lines that are tied to the tools and weapons they use are of course tied to the weapons they use, and that is individual for each of the dwarves, right? So they get some kind of flavor that gives them personality, but I really like the whole concept of them being like brothers and or I don't know, like this, like I don't know what's called.
A homogeneous group.
Almost like ants or whatever. I mean, they're dwarves, right? They're just like all cut out of the same piece of rock.
And using the same voice voice actor is adding to that.
Yeah. In the beginning, it was a way to make it really easy for us to produce.
Yes, it still is, you can say. Still makes it extremely convenient and very easy for us to say yes to some of these requests on adding more voice lines.
Yeah, so there's also that aspect to it. And again, with these updates, now we are doing, I don't know how many updates we've coming with Season 3. We have been doing 2.5 updates this year. Again, getting 4 voice actors into a room and doing recordings, all that is, again, very time consuming. Yeah, makes it very...
Now that the season is nearly done, how do you feel about the implementation of Season 1? Any new realizations or lessons from it?
Well, I think that we briefly talked upon that we had 100 levels in the first season, and now we are trying out 90 levels, the new one. That is, of course, something we've taken into consideration, that maybe it was a bit on the long side. We also wanted to be a long thing.
Yeah.
And I think, I mean, basically, I was the one who was sitting and like designing the whole pass in the beginning. And I've been obviously looking at many games who have season or battle passes, and seen how they have implemented it. And it's very different from game to game. Some have battle passes that you can like just blast through in I don't know, 10, 15, 20 hours. Some is longer. Some, of course, have a paywall. To a second tier of unlocks and so on. We have gone from a system where with the first one we said it lasts you 100 hours. Our data actually showcases pretty spot on there. Pretty spot on there. And now we just think let's try with 90.
But other than that, I think in general we're very satisfied with how the one flow turned out.
Yeah,
and that's also what we see in
and
general,
I think
different opinions, but still the consensus.
I think the whole idea about the season pass lasting 100 hours in season 1 is that, I mean, I think it should be an effort. You put in an effort to really complete it. Again, all the content in there, you're not losing that content. We are throwing it into the game so you can obtain it through just playing the game more. But it also needs to be some kind of like prestige in it.
Yeah,
right? I mean, if you just just got it all for free, you wouldn't have that feeling of like achieving it or completing it. So yeah. Is there any other things we have learned? I think
will change.
I think again in terms of the season pass, I think personally I've been really happy about how the season challenges and the collection of data cells has synergized with the whole game. And also the cosmetic tree collecting scripts. All that has actually worked beyond my expectation, to be honest. And I've been spending a lot of time playing the game on my personal live save. I have reached 60 on my PC on Steam, and I am on 65 actually on PlayStation. So I mean, I've been really like experiencing this season pass, and I think it works. I'm happy about how it works.
Will you make it before season 2?
No, that's not gonna happen. I did few things I just need to unlock before. Oh yeah, but by the way, when we're talking about before season 2, we are gonna give you a good a good warning for when season 2 is coming out and when you need to finish the battle pass if you want to try to finish it before. So don't worry that we will just like take it away overnight. You will get time. You get a warning. You get time to finish. Or if you just want to finish.
Someone asked earlier, like in connection with this, why not keep something unique for those who've played season 1? Why move all content that's not unlocked to season 2?
So in general, we're not fond of keeping things super unique and that is never attainable. That's the same as us giving out the previous Christmas and Halloween stuff out again. And again, it is a balance. Some players like that, and some players they do not like it. And we have ended up figuring out that the more nicest way to approach this is to at least make it available somehow, right? If you're diligent. So it's a balance of there are pros and cons to taking these decisions. Probably not a right one, but we ended up with the one that is the more friendly.
I mean, I think historically we have actually been discussing this a lot, and we have some reoccurring events like Halloween and Christmas where we have been giving out hats, and we also had the anniversary, right? And in the beginning, there was some updates there where we were. I think maybe it was Halloween where we were not,
Halloween
where we were not giving out the old ones, and then people were like, why couldn't we get them? Why couldn't we get the old ones? And I think getting that feedback and thinking about it, I think we just realized, well, why not? Why not just? I mean, who are we making happy here? by not allowing people to have fun dressing up. So and then I think we just said, well, let's just give it out. I actually think there's one thing that's actually prestige in the game that we are not doing again, and that is the anniversary hats that has numbers on. I actually think that we felt it was very weird that now we are celebrating our 4 years in orbit.
Yeah, so
and it would be weird that you were getting hats that said 1 and 2. So now you only have if you haven't got the old ones, you're only getting the number 4 hat now. That's it. Now I'm probably gonna be a huge demand for people who wants those 3 old hats. But that's
I'm primarily seeing requests for the Oktoberfest hat.
Oh yeah, so we have sadly not been able to plan in a proper new Oktoberfest event, even though we felt it was actually very appropriate to the game.
October always comes.
Yes.
Yeah, somehow it always surprises us that there is an October again.
The story there is that there was a time in the history of the Rock Galactic where there wasn't a bar where you couldn't buy beers, believe it or not. Sounds strange. But anyways, when we introduced the bar and the concept of beers in space, we actually did that alongside an October party. Yeah. And there you could get this fedora.
Let's see what we can figure out this year. Maybe we can get the Oktoberfest back in. I think it's hard for us to find reasons not to do it, other than we suddenly realize it's too late.
The reason for not doing it is it coincident with there's Halloween, there's a lot of other stuff around that time period, and this year we have just been we had the PlayStation, the modding support, the season 1, the yada yada yada, so many things going on, so we could simply not.
I'll fight for it, I promise.
What about a soundtrack part 3?
Yeah, so we released the volume 2 to pretty good success, and we actually, I didn't mention that previously, we're actually working on making a vinyl. We hope to get that out. It's also done alongside with a fan of the game. Many of the things we're doing are with fans, and a fan that is professional in doing as a setup for doing vinyl.
And let's see what's happening there. But yes, it is.
But in that regard, of course, we've also been talking about should we do.
Yeah, and I think it is at that discussion level right now. So it's totally something we are not against. But we are not currently working on a volume 3.
Not started, but we're not against it, and we can see how that will add again these variations for especially the fans that have been here for with time, and it feels right. But
let me see. Are there any plans to release a digital art book with, for example, concept art?
Not concrete plans, but actually so I have some of these art books from the Nintendo games, the Zelda art book and the Super Mario Odyssey art book at home. They're released by Dark Horse, and they are amazing. And I would love to see a Deep Rock Galactic version. So there's one thing there is that Razer, they actually bought Dark Horse. So maybe we can talk with them. But we have another problem, which is that initially we did not do a lot of concept art. We're doing a lot more on that now with the new stuff we're doing because we have more people and so on. So we will have to, if we ever did that, we will have to be a little bit creative on how we present some of the
thing is our philosophy in producing art assets is that we want to move it into modeling or building the actual gun or weapon or enemy or whatever as soon as possible. So we do just bare minimum of sketching, or the artists do, I don't do it, but the artists do bare minimum of sketching, and then we go in a direction. We want to see it in a model in game as fast as possible, so we can get a sense of scale and lighting and so on. And then we remodel, we iterate on it in collaboration between game design and programming and art, and then magic happens between those 3 crafts, and then we have the gun or the weapon or whatever the asset. And
Yeah, and that just means that compared to other like the bigger productions that are usually doing these art books, physical form. So maybe the question was actually a digital version is kind of the same for us. You can say that a lot of the work would be the same, but they are the production form producing more of the assets that are to be put in a book like that. So,
but I think
could be cool
when the art stream goes live. I don't know if it's at 3 o'clock. How many questions we're going to take here? But when the art stream goes live, you could ask Frederik, who's the artist who's been working a lot on the weapons, and you can just ask him. He's going to show you. I guess he's going to show you some of the concept art for the guns that they've been working on
now.
Yeah. So then you can make it up for yourself.
But maybe Jacob, I don't know. We have time for maybe one last question, and then we'll take a break or something.
Maybe two if they're really good.
Let me see. I can have one. Any talks about a new type of content to go alongside deep dives and regular missions, like a third way to play, third way to play the game?
No, we have very loose ideas about it. We have been thinking about doing other game modes like that.
Yeah,
no
so it's
concrete.
not just a new type of mission, but a different type of game
but
mode.
No concrete.
Yeah,
no concrete. On
this. We've talked about it. We can see the why that could expand on the experience and maybe draw in new players or be a good variation. I think we'll need to talk some more before we think we don't know.
I totally understand the question. I can totally see what's coming from, and it's definitely.
Feel free to supply us with ideas for game modes that are not just new missions. Let's start by that.
Okay, and a last one is also about the soundtrack. Getting that on like streaming services.
Yeah, we've been discussing it. There are some pros and cons to this. We know there's a demand. I can say we're looking into if it's worth it.
Yeah, that's it.
All right.
I
think we should end this part here, and then there will be a break, right, Jacob? Before you need to set up.
I need something to drink and a bio break. So.
So there'll be a break of maybe
10, 15 minutes, maybe.
Yeah. And then we'll be back with the arts.
Yes.
But thanks everyone for sitting through this and listening to me and Mikkel rambling for almost 2 hours.
Yeah, I hope you enjoyed it or endured it.
Yeah, one of those.
Of those two things. And I hope you have fun playing Deep Rock Galactic.
Thank you. Thank you all.
Get a rock and stone.
Rock and stone. Yeah.
No. See how we prepped it. So you can take the big one. I have the small one. Are you ready?
Yeah.
1, 2, 3. Rock and stone!